Camping is a great way to spend quality time with family, connect with nature, and get fresh air while enjoying the outdoors. My family and I went camping by Lost River. To get there, we drove on I-5 going north from Seattle. We took the exit at Arlington. From Arlington, we drove on Highway 530 to Rockport, where we turned to Highway 20 going east and drove all the way to Mazama. From Mazama, we turned onto Lost River Road and soon arrived at our cabin at Lost River Resort. While camping, we enjoyed our favorite activities, such as driving in the mountains, hiking, playing by the river, and biking. We also visited small towns near Mazama. So let's get in to see more from our trip. Day one of our family camping trip started out with driving from Seattle to Arlington. A little bit of traffic, but nothing too serious. Near Arlington, we passed by several farms where farmers work very hard to grow healthy organic produce. Then we passed to Darrington, where we enjoyed the farmers market and observed a serious amount of wood at the Empton Lumber Factory. Our first real stop was at New Helem. New Helem is a town owned by Seattle City Light. It has a hydropower plant on Skagit River and a park near to it, which used to be decorated with color lights and beautiful music. We walked through the park that still has its charm and enjoyed watching the waterfalls and crossing a very narrow suspension bridge. After the walk, we had our picnic dinner shared with a lot of mosquitoes. Shared with a lot of mosquitoes. By the time we finished our dinner, it was getting dark, so we drove straight to our cabin. We stopped once in the mountains to watch the million stars high up in the dark sky. It was beautiful. Finally, we arrived at our cabin. The cabin was already ready for us, so we got in and had a great night of sleep. This is our cabin. This is where we are staying. This is the front of the cabin. On day 2, we visited the Mazama General Store, which is for travelers who need to get some food on the go. It turns out that this store also serves people who come to Mazama for vacation and has a lot of choices for healthy organic foods. Then we drove to Winthrop, which has a beautiful downtown with shops, restaurants, and even a movie theater. People who live in Winthrop enjoy getting the benefit of living in nature while still enjoying city life experiences. There was also a camp set up nearby for firefighters because this area can have forest fires. From Winthrop, we drove to Twisp, which is the biggest town in the area. It has a big grocery store with a big bison head looking at you as you enter the store. While driving, we saw several baby deer on the side of the road, as well as a bear and a turkey running across the roadway. On day 3, we spent all day hiking and driving in the mountains. We drove all the way up to Slate Peak. This is the highest maintained road in Washington state and perhaps in all of western United States. It brought us to the Slate Peak Fire Lookout at elevation of 7,400 feet, or almost 2,300 meters above the sea level. This is half of Mount Rainier. This fire lookout is the second highest in Washington state, after the lookout on top of Mount Adams, which sits at the elevation of over 12,000 feet. The road is very challenging, long, bumpy, and sometimes going by scary cliffs. However, it was well worth it. Along the way, we saw horses that farmers brought in trailers and rode around the mountain. What was the reason to bring the horses so high up? To feed them? To challenge them? To enjoy horse riding in such a beautiful place? I'm not sure. However, the horses seemed to be doing very well. Finally, we made it to the end of the road. It was freezing at the top, even though it was sunny. The temperature was 62 degrees. We learned that there used to be a natural peak there. In 1950s, the military blew it up to create a flat surface so they could build a radar station. Somehow, the radar station was never built. Instead, now there is a fire lookout. The views from the top are magic. In one direction, there is a huge valley covered with lush green trees. In another direction, there is a meadow with colorful flowers and small pine trees. In yet another direction, there are dramatic rugged peaks with glaciers. It's very quiet and we felt very peaceful and grateful in our minds and our hearts. We enjoyed as much as we could, took pictures, videos, and ate our lunch. However, it came time to go back home. We drove back the long, bumpy, scary road and finally returned to Mazama. We drove to Seattle the same way we came, crossing North Cascade Mountains. We stopped at Washington Pass Overlook. Oh my gosh! It was just amazing. A gigantic granite wall of Kangaroo Ridge facing us across a narrow valley where Highway 20 is running far below us. The peaks of the Liberty Bell Mountain high above to the right. Such a nice break from driving in a narrow channel through the mountains. After that, we stopped to take a peek at Horse Lake. Turns out that from the road we can see only a tiny part of the lake. It continues for 23 miles north into Canada. We also stopped at the Overlook for Lake Diablo. It is a very beautiful and has some campground close to the water. Good for swimming and having a good time. This was our last stop on the way back home. Thank you, North Cascade Mountains, for giving us such a beautiful and good vacation.
I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see your face where